Hopefully my Wi-Fi. Hi, I'm Susan McConnell, your LinkedIn for the Timid Champion. Thanks for joining me today. You will be lit up with actionable ways to improve your marketing. Today's guest is Lorraine Ball. She's a true expert in marketing. You are very lucky if you have joined us today to discuss inbound marketing, meaning they come to you. How nice is that? I love it. After spending too many years in corporate America, Lorraine said goodbye to bureaucracy, glass ceilings, and bad coffee. Thank God. I love good coffee. To follow her passion, helping small business owners succeed. Today, this successful entrepreneur, author, professional speaker, and host of the marketing podcast, More Than a Few Words, and founder of the Digital Toolbox, Lorraine brings creative ideas, practical tips, and decades of real world experience to every conversation. If you haven't had a chance to check out her podcast, I highly suggest you do. Welcome, Lorraine.
Hi, Susan. It is so nice to be here.
Yes, so nice to have you here with me. So let's talk about inbound marketing. What a great idea.
Absolutely. It's funny because I've been doing this before it had a name. Somewhere along the line, HubSpot coined this phrase, inbound marketing. But I've been doing this process probably as long as I've had a website.
Oh, so you should have been HubSpot. It should have been Lorraine Spot or something like that.
You know what? I think a lot of the digital marketing plans and programs are really rooted in common sense marketing. And inbound is definitely the first one because it starts with this idea that people don't become customers overnight. You got to nudge them along. And
Absolutely.
So inbound marketing is really this whole process designed to nudge them along.
That's awesome. So what exactly is inbound marketing? In
So
terms of me, a salesperson. Sorry, Blaine. Go ahead. Tell me what it is.
No, in human speak, not marketing speak, inbound marketing is a process where you put information out in the outside world that answers questions that prospective customers have. And you promote that information with videos like this, with podcasts, with graphics and social media posts that all do one thing. They drive people to your website. And so that's step number one is figuring out what it is people are asking about, creating information that answers the question, and then bringing people to your page and making an offer. Hey, if you give me your email address, I'll give you this thing. And then when you get their email address, the back end of inbound marketing is to have an automated campaign sending people information on a regular basis related to something they're really interested in that drives them back and stays in touch and, like water in the Grand Canyon, wears them down until they finally go, okay, I want to do business with you.
What a great idea. So what are the elements of a good campaign?
So in a good campaign, you got to start with the offer. And I'm going to channel my inner godfather and say it's got to be an offer they can't refuse. It's got to be something that people are like, ooh, I want that. And here's the thing. That does not have to be this huge 100-page book, because you know what? Nobody's going to read it. The trick with a good offer is something that you know that your customers don't, that you have access to that they don't, or that you have bundled together to make it convenient. It needs to be easy to consume. So a 5-page guide or a 1-page checklist is actually going to be more attractive than a voluminous, sign up for our 20-week course. No, sign up for our 2-day class. And then the people that actually sign up and go to the 2 days, you earn the right to send them something else. And that's the other thing. A good offer leaves people wanting more. You want to answer the questions. You don't want it to just be crap. but you don't have to answer every question in the first download. Remember, you want to earn that right to get them to come back. So I can give you a couple of examples.
Sure.
One thing that we do that really surprised me, it's one of our best downloads, is actually a collection of blog posts. And you're like, well, but I can just read all the posts on your website. Yes, you can. But there are thousands of them. And what you're looking for are 3 to 5 blog posts that are all on the same topic. So I bundle them together in a little collection.
What a great
Put a pretty cover on it. Off you go. Worksheets, checklists, quizzes. There's something about that. Rank yourself. We want to know, are we in the top third or the bottom third? And how do we measure up? And when I'm done measuring up, what do I do with the information? So simple to create, quick to consume, leave your customers wanting more. That's how a good offer starts.
That's incredible. Yeah, I also think about in terms of problems that you solve.
Mm-hmm. For a lot of coaches and consultants, you often have an onboarding document where you ask a lot of questions to kind of get to know the customers. We actually turned a lot of our onboarding documents into downloads. So the first one is like a get ready for a web design project. Before you call a web designer, answer these 20 questions. And you know what? People love it. It's one of our most popular. 99% of the people, 99% of the people that download it will never call me. And that's okay. Because it doesn't cost me anything to have lots of people downloading it. But every now and then, and that's the trick with inbound, you bring a lot of people in and the interested people stay with you. I have customers that say to me, Lorraine, I have been getting your newsletter for 2, 3, 5 years, and I'm finally ready to do business with you. And so that inbound campaign that brought them to me, that original offer that made them say, I want to do business, I want to know more, eventually led them to, I want to do business with you. So you got your offer.
That's great.
Next.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go next. I was going to go to the next question, but you can continue because you're doing great.
Oh, okay. So the second thing is the landing page itself. And where I'm going to tell you that there are all sorts of ways you can build a landing page. I'm just going to give you a couple of quick rules. Number 1, there is one call to action on a landing page. You put something in social media that said, hey, come here for this recipe collection. When I get to the page, give me a button and a place where I can fill in my email address for the recipe collection. Do not offer me 12 other things that maybe I could do. But I brought somebody to my website. I got to tell. No. They came for one thing. If you overwhelm them, you run the risk that they don't give you what you want and they leave because there's too much coming at them.
I understand that. You know why? Because I got a lot of those landing pages where there's like tons of colors, tons of offers, and you're sitting there going like, do I click that? Do I click that? Do I click that? It gets confusing, and there's too much confusion as there is right now in this world.
You know what? People don't like to be confused. They don't. They came. Give them what they came for. Now, after they fill out the form and you give them what they want, is it okay to then offer them something else? Absolutely. Absolutely. But not until you give them that first thing. I also recommend that you think about limiting the navigation. So even though the page is on your website, the only thing should be your logo so they can get back to the home page, but everything else should just be about the offer. Now, there's mixed feelings. There are people that love those really long pages. It's like watching a late night infomercial. Here's the knife. Buy now. You didn't want the knife? Well, we'll throw in the paring knife. Buy now. Still don't want it? And there is an argument for those kind of pages. It's not my taste, but I do understand that they work. What I have chosen to do instead is what's called an exit pop-up. That's really more my style. So as you're getting ready to leave, up pops this, hey, you didn't fill out the form. Are you sure you don't want it? And you can always say no, thank you. But what I'm hoping you'll do is go, oh, yeah, I do want it. And then you leave. And then the third piece of the campaign is, what do you do after you get their information? You know, what kind of follow-up? If I downloaded something on financial management, don't send me an email on marketing. Send me an email on your financial management programs. Eventually, you can introduce the other products, but initially, you want that communication to be consistent with whatever it is you just sent me.
Oh, very good. I understand that. So that goes into, I guess, the role of social, or actually using email to close that loop, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Email, social media and email are kind of on either end of this spectrum. Social media, you meet a lot of people, you make the connections, you create the offers, and then you drive them in. They come through your funnel, they fill out the form, and then email keeps them coming back.
Absolutely. So what is the actual role of social media in an inbound campaign?
I think social media is where you find your promotions. And you may have to do some social media advertising, because these days, to get above the noise, you either have to have a lot of friends who routinely share and reshare your content, or you need to break through with a little bit of advertising. I always recommend do organic first, watch the traffic to the website, because one of the things that you can do is, if you've built a bad landing page and you spend a lot of money driving people to a bad landing page, you're not going to get the results. So I like to build the landing page, drive a little bit of traffic, see if it worked, make adjustments, drive a little more traffic. And then once you know you've got something that's really working for you, now you want to kind of up that advertising a little bit and up your activity a little bit more. And so, social media, and I know, you and I do this a lot. We share each other's content and we deliberately say, hey, could you give me a little love here? You really need that network of peers, just like you do in the real world. You need people who are going to share, recommend, support, and interact with you and introduce you to their community. And so if you've got an offer, go ahead and ask some of your friends to help you out a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm a big proponent of that. That's how you grow your network, likes and comments and shares, especially on LinkedIn, obviously, since I know that the most. I'm not as fluid on Facebook, but
you know what? It's very, very similar. But I think the advantage that you have on LinkedIn is that you can really do it as you. On Facebook, it's much more at the company page, and Facebook's really tightening the screws down a little bit on company pages. And basically, if you don't advertise, people aren't going to see your stuff.
I've heard that. That's interesting. I think that will make more people jump over to LinkedIn.
I think so. I mean, well, I don't know that I can use the last year as representative of anything, but I definitely think we've seen a lot more activity on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, definitely has grown. And you've seen different types of people come in. It's not just your typical B2B. I've seen nutrition people offering, getting in shape, trainers, all different kinds of even B2C people are now jumping into LinkedIn because that's where people are.
And so you want to make sure that when you're putting content on LinkedIn or Facebook or Pinterest or wherever you're putting it, that it fits with what people expect on that platform, that your social shares and your content looks appropriate for where you are, and that there's always a strong call to action.
That's right. Call to action on everything, even in sales. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So can a small business effectively do inbound marketing?
I think I think so. I don't think that this is just the purview of the really large companies. I think if you are a small business, you want to start. You want to start small. Start with one good offer and build out all the pieces of that offer and promote it till you're sick of it. And then keep promoting it, because and this goes back to my corporate days when I was doing advertising, and I thought, if I heard our company jingle one more time, I was going to like lose it. And the guy in the ad agency said, no. He said, just about the time you're sick of it, people start to notice it. Remember that the people you're trying to reach are seeing thousands and thousands and thousands of posts and videos and offers every single day. And so it's pretty common that they will have missed your offer. And so what you want to do is not every day, but on a regular basis, just keep promoting it. And then when you're like, okay, I know I have played this out completely, create a second one. And then you can alternate. And then, and when I say alternate, months, if you create 4 offers in a year, you're doing great.
Wow.
Does this work? I'm going to give you some numbers, and I think it tells the story all by itself. We started working with Randall Beans. They had an email list of 250 people who were interested in beans in glass jars. And we had this idea that recipes were what people really wanted, because we didn't sell the product online. You had to buy them in stores. But we wanted to increase their email list, make more people aware. And so we took a printed cookbook they had created, turned it into a digital cookbook, and created our first download, promoted it on social media, promoted it in emails. Fast forward 10 years later, we probably have 25 or 30 cookbooks, and we cycle through them. We re-promote one for 30 days, and then we do another one and another one. And their email list is easily over 8,000 people.
Wow, that's incredible.
So yeah, it works. And today we've also done a lot on their Facebook group and reached out in other ways. But the even more interesting part of that 8,000 people is their open rate. They have people that have been on their list, 8, 9, 10 years. Wow. They still have a 30% open rate.
That's incredible in this day and age.
People still want to know what the latest recipe from Randall Beans is.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. And do they purchase with the jars and the beans?
They their sales and stores have exploded. They're in more locations because people go to the store and say, hey, do you have Randall Beans? I have this recipe. And so now the beans are available in Meijer and Walmart and Kroger and all sorts of retail outlets. They really don't want to ship them. They do some online, but shipping glass jars is really expensive. It's just not a good way to buy the product. So that in and of itself was a whole different level of strange. We've used this same technique to grow our email lists, and I get hundreds of people that fill out forms. I get a lot of people who unsubscribe after the first email. That's okay.
Yeah.
I get people who stay with me. Even better.
That's right. Just like on LinkedIn, you have the choice to connect. You have the choice not to connect. But if you don't ask, you don't know. Right?
Absolutely.
There's some good advice. If you don't ask, you don't get. Mm-hmm. And you ask in a nice way.
Yeah. And it's a fair exchange. I'll give you something you don't know. You give me your email address.
Correct. I like that idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Lorraine, thank you so much. This has been great.
Inbound my pleasure.
To do it. Inbound in every way. That way you have less outbound to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So strategies. Thanks again, Lorraine, and join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock for Dangerous Conversations with Susan. What you will learn and will help you grow will be very dangerous. Have a great day, everybody.
You have to end.